Hello guys, congratulations all for securing a seat in this program and I welcome you to the UI development course. Let me introduce myself. I'm Sonal Patil. I work with ThinkQuotient Software Private Limited in the training department. Let me give you overview of the today's sessions. So we will be having this syllabus, that is nothing but what is HTML, versions of HTML, elements and tag types. We will be having look at the features of HTML, doc type declaration, heading, paragraph, then we will see anchor tags, we'll see multimedia tags, iframes, list, tables and last frame forms, right? So let's have a look on the thing called as in what is HTML. So very first thing is let's have a full form of this HTML. HTML stands for hypertext markup language. Now what is this hypertext markup language is arranging your document, that is machine readable document, in some systematic format, that is nothing but this hypertext markup language. Now allows the user to create and structure the sections, paragraphs, headings, links for web pages and the application. HTML is not a programming language. It does not have the ability to create dynamic functionality as well. Instead, it makes it possible to organize and format documents. It runs natively in every browser and it is maintained by W3C. Now, what is this W3C stands for? World Wide Web Consortium. And whatever updates we get in HTML, whatever updates we get in the UI technologies, that are all created and maintained by this W3C. So W3C plays a vital role. W3C is nothing but World Wide Web Consortium. Now the origin of HTML is SMGL. Now what is this? SMGL stands for Standard Generalized Markup Language. It is a standard for how to specify a document markup language or tag set. And other way I can say it is a standard for defining generalized markup languages for the documents. So let's have a look on the history of HTML. So who is the founder of HTML? And that is nothing but Tim Berners-Lee. He invented HTML. He is a physicist at the CERN Research Institute in Switzerland. So HTML versions we have got HTML1 was introduced in 1991, HTML2 was introduced in 1995, HTML 3.2 was introduced in 1997, HTML4 was introduced in 1999, XHTML in 2000 and HTML5 in 2014, HTML 5.2 in 2017. So latest and the current version of HTML is 5.2. So we will be learning this HTML5. Now, let's have a look on the editors. Now we have seen what is HTML, what we are going to do with HTML. So basically we will be creating our web pages and web applications. What is the meaning of this developing web pages? That is nothing but developing some UIs. UI stands for user interfaces. User interfaces is nothing but your websites, your web application, your WhatsApp, right? Whatever it being displayed on your web pages, that is nothing but your UIs. So whenever you want to write this HTML document, in that case you can use multiple code editors. So it is okay if you don't want to go with any code editors, simply you can start with the notepad as also. So you can use brackets, notepad plus plus, atoms, sublime, edit plus, visual studio code and etc. So there are n number of code editors available in the market. You can use any one of them to start with. So I will be starting a few codes with notepad and after that I will be using the sublime. So let's have a look on the next thing, that is nothing but tags and elements in HTML. So before starting with how tags and HTML works, now let's try to understand how does HTML work. HTML documents are files that end with the .html or .htm extension, right? So you can view them using any web browsers such as Google Chrome, Safari or Mozilla Firefox. The browser reads the HTML file and renders its content to the internet users can see, so that users can see it, right? So whatever content we are going to write, that will be get rendered on your browsers. It may be Chrome, it may be your Firefox. So rendered content can be viewed to your users. So generally your websites include several different HTML pages. That is nothing but it could be home page, about us page, contact us page and would have all separate HTML elements. Each HTML page consists of a set of tags, also called as elements. So each HTML page going to consist of, it's made up of consisting a set of tags or elements which you can refer to as the building blocks of your web pages. They create a hierarchy that structures the content into the sections, paragraphs, headings, and other blocks. Most HTML elements have an opening tag and closing tag. So basically, HTML elements usually consist of a start tag and the end tag. So opening tag and nothing but a closing tag, that is nothing but start tag and close tag with the content inserted in between. So let's have a look on the next types of tags. So first is container tag and second is your in-end tag. So what is this container tag and in-end tag is? So whenever you have some opening tag and some closing tag, so definitely we'll have a look on it. So what is this? So whenever you want to deal with HTML elements, whenever you want to start with HTML document, so you have to use this angle bracket to specify your opening tags, and you have to use this angle bracket and forward slash symbol to close this tag. So this is nothing but container tag. The tag who have opening tag as well as the closing tag is known as your container tag. Now let's have a look on this in-end tag, and in-end tag is nothing but your image tag. So opening tag you can see over here, the src attribute is written over here, alt attribute written over here, and your forward slash is in the opening tag itself. So let's have a look on this tags in practically. So I'll just move back into my page. I'm going to find over here notepad because I'm going to write my code inside the notepad, and I'm going to start with my HTML document. So instead of me starting with the HTML document, let me show you one more thing. Instead of features, I'll just show you one more thing over here. So very first thing is, whenever you want to start your HTML document, you have to save the extension, or you have to save the file with extension called .htm or .html. So what I'm going to do is, I'm going to save the file with name index.htm, or you can save it with .html. So I'm going to save it in the folder called, let's take, I have created a folder over here, HTML day 1. I'll select the folder and I'll save the file as well. Now I'm going to start with the code. So very first thing is, you have to start your HTML document by writing an angle bracket first, and you have to specify the document type. So basically, which type of version you're using, which version of HTML you're using currently. So we will be using this HTML5. So you have to specify the HTML5 version, and that can be specified using this exclamatory mark doc type HTML. Now you have to hit enter to the next line. What you have to write is, so in the HTML document structure, the next line is nothing but your HTML tag. So this is a container tag. So container tags do have the closing tag. So I'm going to start this HTML tag over here. I'm going to close this HTML tag over here. And in that, you have to specify your content, whatever you want to write, right? So what is the meaning of this HTML tag stands over here, and this closing of this HTML tag? The closing of HTML tag is being represented using this forward slash. So what is the meaning of this HTML? So HTML tag specifies your starting of HTML document and closing of your HTML document. So in other word, the element is the root element of an HTML web page. So basically, this is going to specify my starting of HTML document, and this is nothing but my closing of HTML document. Now inside the HTML, we have got an head tag. So I'm going to include the head tag over here, and head tag do have this closing tag as well. So whatever part you don't want to display to the user, that you are going to put inside this head tag, just like your extra information, just like your meta tags, those information that you don't want to display to the user, that whole part will go inside this head tag. Now whatever content you want to display on the browser, that you want to cover, or that you want to include inside this body tag. So basically, whatever things you want to display on the browser, whatever thing you want to display to the user, welcome to HTML, welcome page, or it may be your login pages, that will include inside your body tag, right? I hope you are clear with the structure. This is the skeleton how you have to start with. So doc type is nothing but your which version of HTML you're currently using, and doc type HTML of writing this statement, you are specifying you're using the latest version, that is nothing but HTML5. And this HTML tag going to specify the starting of your HTML document, and closing of HTML specifies the closing of your or the end point of your HTML document. Head tag specifies your extra information that you want to add to your HTML document, but you don't want to render it and don't want to display it to the user, right? So that whole part will fall under this head tag, and this is nothing but your body tag. Whatever contents you want to render and display it to the user, in that case you can work with this body tag. Now let's try to have hello world program. So I'm going to write over here h1 tag. Now what is this h1 tag? I'll definitely let you know, but before that let me finish it with hello world program. So I'm going to write over here hello world and save the file, and let me execute the same. So what I'm going to do is to execute the same, I'm going to minimize the same, and I'll go into my folder. So I'll just say Windows over here, I'll just click on it. Let me open my folder, and that I'm going to see HTML day 1. In that we have got this index as a page. Now you can see I'm directly able to get the Chrome symbol. You might get your default web browser symbol. It may be Firefox or it may be Internet Explorer. You can simply double click on it, and you can say render the same page, and now you can see the expected output is being displayed on the browser, right? Hello world. So this is our first HTML program, and let's start with some new things. So what I'm going to do is let's have some next thing that is called and features of HTML. So basically it is very easy and simple to use and simple to understand language, because most of the tags or most of the elements, the name suggests their purpose of use. So basically this is very easy language, right? And simple too. Platform independent language, because you can execute the same code or you can render the same code on on, you can say, Chrome and Firefox. You can execute the same code on, let's take Mozilla. You can execute on Internet Explorer as well. So it is platform independent language. It is not a case sensitive language, because if you can write in any we can say transformation language. So suppose it may be uppercase, it may be lowercase. It is because HTML is not a case sensitive language. So you can have you can build web pages, and in that web pages you can include tables, you can include some links, you can include your, let's take images, you can include audios, you can include videos as well. The way you want to make your website to be attractive, to be impressive, you can use that many tags, right? So you can build tables, you can build audios, you can build videos. And so the important feature of HTML5 is nothing but the new form control attributes been added, and they are nothing but placeholder, autofocus, email, URL, required pattern, numbers, range, colors, tell, search, date, time, file, required as an attribute. So don't worry about this statement, we'll definitely have a look in it. But for now, let's try to understand. There are new features being updated in HTML5, and they have introduced some new form control attributes. They are like this. Definitely, we are going to cover in the session, right? I hope you all guys are clear with the features. Easy, simple to use, simple to understand language. Platform independent language, because it can be executed on any browser. It is not a case sensitive language. You can have it in the either uppercase, you can have it in the lowercase as well. But a good developer's coding standards says you have to have this HTML in the lowercase. So what is the purpose of this lowercase is because there is a XHTML version is also there. In that it is a strict version, and what is the purpose of this XHTML is XHTML actually stands for Extensible Hypertext Markup Language, and it is almost identical to HTML, and XHTML is strict than HTML. So XHTML is the HTML defines an XML application, and XHTML is supported by all the browsers. So many pages internet contain bad HTML. So basically what happens is, in the market you have seen, instead of running web pages into your laptops or into your machines only, we are now able to run the same web pages into your cars, into your phones, into an other system as well. So basically when you want to deal with this HTML web pages, in that case you should have some coding standards. So basically it should be in the case, in the uppercase or in the lowercase, but XHTML follows only the lowercase language. So basically if you're going to make some mistakes, or you forget to close the some tags in the HTML, it is okay, HTML will understand it, or your HTML engine will understand automatically that you have forgetted this, and it will execute the same. So basically you won't get error inside this HTML, but in XHTML you will definitely meet some errors. XHTML elements must be properly nested, must be closed always, it must be in the lowercase only, and there must be only one root element inside the XHTML. So I know you are not able to get this, what is this uh, nesting, what is this closing of tags, but for now let's keep in mind XHTML is very strict and HTML is not strict. So let's start with the next thing. So how we are going to declare our document declaration. So what is the use of this document declaration? So sometimes we may want to work with the HTML4. So I have to declare the version also, which type of version I'm going to use. So in that case, what you have to do is you have to declare the version. The way we have declare in HTML5, the same you have to declare in HTML4. Now let's try to have a look on how we declare document declaration in HTML4, and this is something like this. So you have to say exclamatory mark doc type HTML public W3C, because W3C, if we know, is the one who is responsible for all the updates World Wide Web, right? Consortium DTD HTML 4.0.1 and everything. So let's have a look on the HTML5 doc type declaration, how we used to declare in HTML5. So simply we have to say exclamatory mark doc type HTML, and that's it. So hope you are able to get how simple language it is, how easy language it is, and how shorthand syntax it contains of. So basically you can see in HTML5 how we declare this doc type declaration. Now let's have a look on the next thing called as an heading tags. So I'll just move back into my code and let me show you some codes over here. So the very first thing is I have generated over here hello world, and this is nothing but my heading tag. So what is the meaning of this heading tag? Whenever you want to have some important tags in your HTML, in that case you can go with this heading tags. So we have got some heading tags as well. So I'm going to define this h2 and h3. So what are all the heading tags we have got? So we have got h2, we have got h3, we have got h4, and we have got h5, we have got h6 as well. So we have got total 6 heading tags, and these are nothing but h1 till h6. So basically you have to close them as well, because these are going to be your container elements or container tags. So I'm going to close this h4, I'm going to close this h3 as well. So close this h5 and closing of this h6. So these are the predefined heading tags. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to say I am heading 2 over here. I'm going to copy the same line, say Control C, and I'm going to paste it again for my 3 and 4, 5, 6. Control V, I'll just replace this 2 with 3. I'll say Control V and 4 over here. I'm going to paste for 5 as well. I'm going to paste it for 6 as well. Now let me save the file and refresh the page once again, and now you can see I'm getting some output, and you can identify as well what is the difference between these heading tags, different heading tags. So h1 is nothing but your most important heading, h2 is your, what we can say, less important heading, and h3 is your more less important heading. So h6 your least important heading. So when you want to have some headings, least important, most important heading, in that case you can go with this heading tags. So browsers automatically add some white spaces before and after some heading tags. That's why we are able to get some nice look of this heading tags. I hope you all guys are clear with this. Now when you want to add some horizontal rules, that is nothing but horizontal line, how to add that one, let me show you the one thing. So I'll just move down over here. I'll simply add this hr tag over here, and hr tag don't have a closing tag, so you can call it as an in end tag. So save the file, head back to the browser and refresh the page, and you can see one horizontal line is being added over here, right? So after that you can continue your tags as well. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to give you and one interview question. So interview question, it may be interview question that what if I write h10 or h11. So in that case, let me show you some output for the same. So very first thing is, keep in mind html will never give you error. It may give you output which looks maybe weird, that is not meeting our expectations level, but keep in mind html will never give you error. So I'm going to say over here I am, let's take heading 10. So I'm going to follow this heading 10. So save the file and head back to the browser, refresh the page once, and if I scroll it down, you can see it is I am heading 10. So basically you can see some fonting is different, some styling is different of this heading 10. Actually it is not heading, it is treated as something else. So what is that something else? Definitely we'll have a look over there. But keep in mind, we can see for the heading tags, all the heading tags, some bold format is being applied. For the h10 there is no such boldness is being applied. So I hope you all are clear with this. Now let me show you, if I'm going to exceed my h6, that is nothing but h7, h8 till h1000, h infinity. So what it is going to follow, so which standard or which font style it is going to follow. So definitely we have got there one more tag, that is nothing but your paragraph tag. So paragraph tag is represented using this p tag, and to specify any paragraph you can specify in the same, right? So I'm going to say welcome to, I'm going to say TQPP, and let's say I'm going to say over here, let me hit enter over here, and I'm going to say I am Sonal Patil over here, and I'm going to say let's take nice to meet you, right? Now I'm going to save the file and refresh the page once again. I'm dealing in the same page. I'm going to refresh the page, and you can see welcome to TQPP. I'm Sonal Patil and nice to meet you is displayed on my browser, right? So now my current browser is Chrome, as you all can see. Welcome to TQPP. I'm Sonal Patil. Nice to meet you is being displayed. But what is happening in this case is you are not able to get everything in the paragraph syntax. So basically you're getting in the one liner syntax, or in, you can say one line go. But what if you want to display some, let's take song lyrics. So song lyrics we never look in one line, right? So in that case you have to maintain some white spaces, or in that case you have to maintain some line breaks as well. To add the line break, what I'm going to do is I'm going to simply add this br tag over here, and again I'm going to add this br tag, and I'm going to add this br tag. So basically what is this br tag specifies is break of line. So let's add the in end tag, because br tag don't have the closing tag as well. So we have to say in end tag, save the file and head back to the browser, refresh the page, and you can see welcome to TQPP. I'm Sonal Patil. Nice to meet you. It's displayed on the browser with containing enters. Right now, I'll just make some changes into my code. I'm going to say welcome to TQPP, and I'm going to say spaces over here, and I'm going to say welcome to UI or development, right? So I'm going to say UI development, save the file over here and head back to the browser and refresh the page. You can see, though I have given some white spaces in between these two statements, still I'm getting these two statements being concatenated and they are continued, right? So what is the other solution to add the white spaces? Simply what you can do is, let me show you one thing. That is, we have seen break tag as well. We are dealing with the non-breaking spaces. So basically when you want to add white spaces into your web page, so in that case simply you have to add and nbsp semicolon. So this will add one white space into your web page. Let me add this is as, let's take 5 times. So I want total white spaces to be displayed over here. Let's save the file and head back to the browser. I'm going to refresh the page and now you can see white spaces are being added, right? Let me add two more. Control V, Control V, Control V. Save the file, head back to the browser and refresh the page. You can see some white spaces are being added, right? So what is happening in this case is simply you have to write BR tag every time. You have to add white spaces every time. This is not actually a good developer practice to have this sort of jugards, right? So basically you have to have some standard way of doing the same. So what I'm going to do is I will be copying the same content over here and I'm going to paste it. I'm going to add first a horizontal rule first, and let me have this in end tag. I'm going to paste it over here and let me have one more tag called as an pre tag. That is nothing but pre tag stands for predefined. We can say pre tag, and I'm going to have these white spaces over here. I'm going to remove this break tag also. Remove this break tag. I'm going to remove this last break tag also, and let me close this pre tag. Just keep in mind the way we have started these tags. Please do close these tags to avoid such unexpected outputs. Let's save the file and head back to the browser. Refresh the page once, and first we are getting this horizontal rule, and then we are able to get these white spaces and the pre-tag output. But you can notice there is some fonting difference between this pre-tag and p-tag, but that is okay to have the same. As of now we are concerned for this adding this line breaks and this and NBSP symbol, right? So let's save the file and next move ahead towards the next thing. So yes, we are covered heading tags, paragraph tags, break tags, horizontal rule as well, or horizontal row sometimes you can see, non-breaking spaces, and let's have a look on these attributes. All HTML elements can have attributes. Attributes provide additional information about an element. So attributes are always specified in the start tag. So basically what is the start tag is nothing but this one. So whenever you have the start tag over here, you can see this opening tag, that is nothing but your start tag. And when you want to specify the attributes, let me explain you one again what is attribute. So all HTML elements can have attributes, and attributes are nothing but some additional information about an element or extra information about that particular tag. Attributes are always specified in the start tag. So how we can specify attribute is nothing but your name and value pair. So I'm going to say over here, I'm going to comment in HTML. So how we can add comment is angle bracket, exclamatory mark, hyphen hyphen, hyphen hyphen, and your angle bracket close. So what are the use of this comment is whenever you want to add and we can say a line, but that should not be rendered and should not be displayed on the browser. In that case comments are useful, right? So what I'm going to do is I'm going to specify over here attribute attribute syntax. I'm going to say, and attribute syntax is nothing but your name and value pair. So you have to specify name is equals to value, right? So what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you one example for the same, and I'm going to show you how to add height and width to your HTML element. Instead of height and width, let me show you the example for your title tag. So simply what I'm going to do is in the hello world opening tag, whatever attributes you want to specify, that should be specified inside the opening tag of the element, or you can say a content. I'm going to add over here title as attribute. So title I'm going to say, I will going to display over here heading 1 example, and let's save the file and head back to the browser. Refresh the page once again, and you can see over here, if I scroll over here, heading 1 example is being the tooltip is being added, right? So what is attribute is? Attribute is nothing but which gives an extra information about your tag, about your element. Extra information has to be specified inside the opening tag of your element, and or opening tag of your content. In that you have to specify your name and value pair. So to specify name and value pair, what you have to do, simply you have to specify attribute name and you have to specify the value as well. So you have to specify attribute name and attribute value. So attribute value generally specified in the double quotes or single quotes. You can use it is of your choice. So you have to specify inside the double quotes or single quotes, right? I hope you all guys are clear with this attributes. Definitely we will be having look at more attributes when we'll move ahead with further sessions, right? Now let's have a look on the next thing called as multimedia tags. So basically when you want to add your images, when you want to add some links, when you want to add some audios, videos. So let's start with the image first. What if I want to include image into my web page? So basically what you have to do is you have to write image tag. Image tag itself is a in end tag, so simply you have to close in the opening tag itself. So you have to say src. Src is nothing but your full path, where the or we can say a location of your image, and you have to give the extension of the image as well. So what is this alt? Alt is nothing but a description, and I made a mistake over here. Description for description spelling, just ignore that one. So description you have to specify, and when it comes into a picture, so description will come into a picture when your image is not being displayed. It may be your internet issue, it may be the your path issue, it could be anything. In that case user should get to know about something, that what this image stands for. So you can add some description. That description could be two-word description, three-word description. So you have to specify path, full path. You can say the D drive, inside that I have some images folder, inside I have the let's take elephant image, and that is nothing but with the extension dot your jpg, your jfif, whatever extension you have to give extension as well. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you the example for the same. Let me go back into my code and let's create new file. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to search for notepad first, and let me have a HTML document. So I'm going to save the file first with some images demo, or I'm going to say multimedia dot html, and let's save the file first and start the document. uh, Start the document. So what I'm going to do first, declare your doc type declaration, and that can be done using this angle bracket exclamatory mark, and you have to specify this doc type, and you can say html. Now close this, and let's have very first tag, that is nothing but your html tag, that specifies your starting of html document and closing of your html document. Inside the html tag we do have got head tag, that is also container tag. So head tag is also having this opening tag and closing tag as well. Now let me show you what other thing we can include inside the head tag. So simply you can include very first your title tag, so where it will be rendered and it will be displayed, I will definitely show you. So closing of this title tag. So let me save the file and let me add some titles. So I'm going to say my first page. So I'm going to say my first page. Save the file and let me show you the output for the same. I'll just go into my code, or I'll say folder. I'll just say run multimedia, and over here I'm going to show you this my first page is being displayed on the top, right? So basically when you want to change your html page title, in that case you can use this title tag, and this title tag has to be included inside the head tag. And what I'm going to do is add a image into my html page. So I'm going to get back into my code. Let me add the image. So to add the image that is going to be rendered and that is going to be displayed on the web page, to have the same we have to include the body tag. So I'm going to close the body tag as well, right? So what you have to do is now you have to include the image tag. So simply I'm going to say image. src is one more attribute. The name of the attribute is src. You have to give path over here, and I'm going to close this image tag because image tag is a in tag, right? Now I'm going to save the file, but before that I have to give the path of my image. So what I'm going to do is I'll just move back into my code. I'll just show you the html day1 folder. In that I have kept this demo file, that is nothing but my image, and you can see some smiley image is being displayed over here. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to close this, and now I'm going to read this properties from this place. So because why I need to read this property is we have to get this extension of the file, as the full path, right? I'm going to say Control C from this place. I have to include the same file, and I'm going to say demo dot your extension. So I'm going to say jfif is my file extension, and let me save the file first and refresh the page. You can see if I go and refresh the page, the image is being displayed on my web page, right? So image is being displayed on my web page. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to change the name of the image. Basically I'm going to make it wrong. So I'm going to save the file, head back to the browser and refresh the page. Now you can see some broken images being displayed. Being a user side, or according to the user's perspective, there should be some message that has to be displayed, that what this image stands for. So simply what I'm going to include is the alt attribute over here. So I'm going to say alt is equals to, I can say, some smile image, and save the file, head back to the browser and refresh the page. You can see some smile image is being displayed over here. So I'll go just make some changes. Smile image text is being displayed over here. Now you can see, even if the image is not being displayed, you can give some message to the user, right? So basically this alt will work only if when your image is not being displayed. Now just save the file, head back to the browser, and you can see the text demos smile is not being displayed over here. You can see simply my image is being displayed, right? Now alt attribute will work only if when the image is not being displayed, that there may be any reason, some internet issue, some file not found issue, right? Now let me add some other attributes as well. So when you want to display some image, in that case you can have other attributes, something called as in height and width, right? So I'm going to add some height and width over here. Let's go back into the code and let me show you the height and width attribute over here. So I'm going to add height. So whenever you want to specify height, so you have to specify in some pixels format. So what I'm going to write over here is 200. Instead of 200, I'll give 400 px. Now first we'll try to understand what is this pixels. Pixels are nothing but a single dot, and I'm going to specify 400 px for my height, and width I'm going to specify, width is equals to, I'm going to specify this 500 px. So basically these are nothing but some attributes, and you have to specify attributes inside the opening tag of your HTML page. So let me show you the code again. In the opening tag of image, I have specified src attribute over here, demo.jfif. Height I have specified over here, width I have specified 500 px. Alt smiley image I have specified over here. Alt is nothing but your alternative. What if my image is not being displayed? In that case I want to display some content over here, display some text, so that user will get to know about what this image stands for. Let me save the file and head back to the browser. If I go and refresh the page, you can see this was my image, this was my browser's default size, and now the image height and width is being changed. You can see some changes are made over there. The image is now big, right? I hope you clear with the height and width attribute. Let me show you the next thing, that is nothing but your audio tag. So whenever you want to include a audio tag into your web page, how you can include the same? So simply you have to add this audio tag. So audio tag is nothing but your container tag, so you have to close this audio tag as well. So over here you can see I have added this source tag which contains this src attribute. Now I hope you are clear with the src attribute. Whenever you want to specify the path of the file, in that case you have to specify your path. So I have added over here src attribute, and let me show you the example practically. Let me head back to the code, and I'm going to get into my code. So let me add this audio tag very first. So I'm going to say audio, and in that audio I'm going to have this container tag. So I have to close the audio tag as well. So in that audio tag I'm going to include this source tag, because source tag is the one through which you can add the path. So source, I'm for now I'm going to keep it blank, and source tag is an intent tag. So close this in the way I have closed, right? Now let me add my audio tag over here, and if I go into my code, into my folder, if you can see, I have some audio over here, this a tag, that is nothing but file a. So I'm going to get this .mpeg format. So let me show you the properties first. let me show you the properties of this file first, and that is nothing but you can see .mpeg, right? So basically, directly file path can be given only if your HTML page and your audios and videos are in the same folder, right? So what I'm going to do is I'm going to get this name of the file and the file extension. So let me include the same inside my uh, what you can say a code. So I'm going to get into the audio and I'm going to say the file name as A, and inside that I have got the format as mpeg. Now let's save the file and head back to the browser and refresh the page, and you can see I'm not able to get my audio tag. So why I'm not able to get my audio tag is because simply you have to add some controls tag, controls attribute over here. Unless and until you add the controls attribute, you won't be able to get your audio and video tag on your browser. So I'm going to add these controls, and let me save the file and head back to the browser. I'm going to refresh the page, and you can see some controls are being displayed. Some play pause button is over there, some scroll bar is available over there, and you can see some mute and unmute button is there, right? So sound button is there. So what I'm going to do is I'm simply going to play the file, right? I hope you all guys are clear with the syntax. So you can pause this, you can play again. It works as your it works as of your normal audios, and if I'm going to play the same, you can mute it also and you can unmute it also. So this is the way how you can include your audio into your web page. And let me show you how to add your video tag into your web page. So for the same, I'm going to have this video tag. So let me include this video tag, and video tag do have the closing tag, so I'm going to close it again. And in that I have to specify this source tag. In that I'm going to say src is equals to the file name, and the file name is nothing but I have to go back into my folder. You can see some v file name I have got. Let me check for the uh, format of the file, that is nothing but .mp3. So I'm going to say I have got some v file, v named file, and in that I have the extension is nothing but .mp4 file. So let me save the file and head back to the browser and refresh the page once. The moment I'm going to refresh the page, I'm getting some picture over here. Now I'm not able to get the play and pause buttons, the mute button, nothing else. So in that case, what you can do is you have to simply add the controls attribute again. So I'm going to add the control attributes over here, controls, save the file, head back to the browser and refresh the page, and you can see some controls are being added over here, some scroll bar is being added over here. Let me play the video first.
Face, because one main way viruses spread
You can
is
see
when you
some
touch
mute
your
button is provided over here. You can
nose.
mute the audio as you can mute the video as well, right? The video will be continued to play, and you can see if I'm going to play again, you can see video is around, but the voice is now muted. You can unmute the
Viruses
same,
spread is when
right?
you touch
I
your
hope you
own
all are
mouth,
clear with this
nose, or
audio and
eyes.
video tags, multimedia tags, how to include it. And right, let me have the next topic. And next thing is nothing but our iframes. Now, so technically the definition says HTML document embedded inside another HTML document on a web page. Other words, we can say nesting of your web pages. Other way we can say when you want to open web page within a web page. So basically you can go with the iframe syntax. So let me show you the iframe syntax. So iframe have uh, iframes are nothing but your container tag. So simply what you have to do is you have to include iframe tag over here. You have to say src is equals to some path of the file. You can have your own content file, or you can open your any web url, right? So you have to include this iframe. Let me go back into my code, but for this iframes I will be writing my same code inside the code editor, that is nothing but sublime. So I'm going to search over here sublime, and let's open it. So installation of the sublime is quite easy. You can simply search on the google sublime download. So I'm going to say file, open folder over here, and simply you have to get into our folder. So I'm going to select our folder that is present on the desktop, html1, and select folder over here. And you can see the previous files that we have already covered, that are also displayed into this folder. You can see demo .jfif, index.html, multimedia.html. Now I'm going to create a new file over here. To create a new file, you can simply say Control N, or you can go over here on the file, you can say new file, right? So anyway you can prefer, but generally go with the shortcuts. So I'm going to create this, very first save the file to have the intelligence. So I'm going to select our folder HTML day one, and I'm going to save the file with the name called as an iframe .html. So you can save the file with extension either the .html or either the .htm. Now I'm going to save the file and head back to code, right? So what I'm going to do is, very first I have to write the document version. So I'm going to say exclamatory mark this doc type HTML, and I'm going to say starting of my HTML, and you can see the moment I'm going to hit enter, you are getting this boilerplate code, right? So this is the way, this is the advantage of using the Sublime code editor, or any code editor. Any code editor will give you an intelligence to auto complete your code. So please use this code editors when you are habitual, or when you are comfortable with your syntaxes of HTML. Now I'm going to include this iframe over here. I'm going to say iframe. I have to enclose inside the tag. So I'm going to say iframe, and you can see my code editor is auto completing my tags. So over here src I have to give some path. So I'm going to give some uh, Wikipedia path from this place. So I'm simply going to search what is HTML. I'm going to say Wikipedia. So I want to search for the Wikipedia page itself. So I'll just say click on this page. I'm going to get this URL first, Control C, and head back to the code. Now I'm going to paste this URL. Now basically your HTML page, inside this iframes you can have your web URLs, or you can have your own pages that you have own created. Now I'm simply going to save the file and head back to the browser. Before moving back to the browser, we have to run this file as well. So what I'm going to do is simply right click and say open in browser, and you can see we are getting this iframe present over here, right? So you can see some its Wikipedia page is being displayed in the iframe, but that is not looking good. What I'm going to do is I'm simply going to add attributes. These are nothing but height and width. So I'm going to say height is equals to, let's take 500 px, and width I'm going to add nothing but your some responsive look. So width I'm going to specify, instead of pixels I'm going to specify inside this percentage format. So save the file, head back to the browser, and if I refresh the page, you can see it is occupying my full width of the browser, and height is nothing but 500 px, right? So you can see history of the HTML, that is nothing but in 1980 physicist Tim Berners-Lee on the contractor at CERN purposed and prototype inquired. So you can read everything from this place, HTML2 version, HTML3 versioning, HTML4, HTML5, right? Now let me show you something called as an iframe purpose. This is how we can use iframe into your web pages, right? So generally iframe used to have the nesting of web page within a web page. So basically this is nothing but my web page, and this is nothing but my another web page, right? So this is the way how you can include your iframes. You can set height and width to your iframes, and you can have some styling as well. Now what I'm going to do is, let me move to the next thing called as list. So inside HTML we have got some list. These are nothing but your unordered list, and the syntax is you have to include this ul tag over here and your li tag over here. Just now I have specified ul tag is a container tag itself, so it is not an init tag. Ul tag do have the closing tag, so li tag is container tag again. So in this li tag I have specified this java as a content, and I have closed this li tag. So simply I have closed this ul tag, and let me have the same syntax to have this list. Let me head back to the browser, and let me head back into my code. I'm going to create a new file over here. Now I'm going to save the file as list demo.html, and I'm going to have this boilerplate code using this HTML angle bracket and HTML. Hit enter, you can see I'm able to get my boilerplate code, right? So this is nothing but your HTML document, starting of your HTML document, your head tag, your title tag, your closing of HTML document, and that you can see your body tag, right? So simply what I'm going to do is I'm going to include my list. So very first, let me add the comment into my HTML document, and I'm going to add over here unordered list demo. So unordered list demo, and to get this unordered list you have to specify this UL tag and this closing of UL tag. Now let me tell you first what is this unordered list, what is the meaning of this actually named unordered list. Unordered list, that is nothing but there is no order. So basically whenever you're going to deal with the unordered list, in that case you will be having some bullets and you will be meeting with some bullets. So what are those bullets? I'll just mention over here, and those bullets are nothing but circle, then you can make with a square, and then you can met up with this, you can say disk. So these are the three types that you can met with. So simply I'm going to add over here li tag, and I'm going to specify this li as closing tag as well. I'm going to say Java over here. I'm going to add one more li tag, and in that I'm going to specify Angular over here. I'm going to add one more li tag. In that li tag I'm going to specify, let's take React over here. So let's save the file and head back to the browser. Before moving to the browser, I have to say open in browser, and now we are able to get our unordered list demo. That is nothing but Java, Angular, React is being displayed with some bullets, right? You can see some disk bullets are being displayed. Now you can change the bullets as well. So how you can change the bullets? By simply adding one attribute called as a style. So I'll just go back into my code. Now I'm going to add the attribute. So whenever you want to add attribute, it has to be included inside the opening tag of the content. So I'm going to write over here style as a attribute. So whenever you want to specify attribute, you have to give name and value pair. So name of the attribute is nothing but style, and in that style I'm going to specify list hyphen style hyphen type. So I'm going to specify as, let's say, circle over here. Save the file, head back to the browser and refresh the page. You can see some circles bullets is being displayed, or it is replacing the disk with circle, right? So other way what you can add is the square. So simply I'm going to remove this square circle and replace this with square. Save the file, head back to the browser and refresh the page, and you can see some bullets are appearing over here, and these are nothing but your square, right? I hope you all are clear with the unordered list in which you don't have such ordering. Let's say order example 1 2 3 4 a b c d. So whenever you don't have some orders, in that case you can include this unordered list. Unordered list is nothing but it will add some bullets in front of your content, right? So default we have get disk, we can change it to circle, we can change it to square. Now let's head back to the code and let me show you the code for the unordered list. Before that, let me show you the ordered list syntax. For the ordered list, we have to use this OL tag. In that OL tag, you have to include this LI tag. So what I'm going to do is simply going to include this OL tag into my code and this LI tag as well. So I'm going to simply copy the UL tag. I'm going to paste it over here and replace this UL with OL, remove this extra attribute whatever I have added over here, and remove this UL and replace with OL as well. So save the file and head back to the browser and refresh the page, and now you can see default numbering is being added, that is nothing but 1 2 3. If you have some more contents, the 1 2 3 4 until infinity, it will add the numbers. Now, what if I want to change the starting of your numbers? So I'm going to simply say I want to change the start. So I'm going to say start attribute over here, and I'm going to add 11. Now save the file, head back to the browser, refresh the page. You can see 11, 12, 13 is being added, right? It's not necessary to start with always this. You can add this 54 and saving the file, refresh the page. You can see 54, 55, 56 is being displayed, right? So basically you can change the starting of your ordered list as well. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to simply change the type of my list. Now I don't want this numbers to be displayed as my number as my order. So I'm going to say type I want to change, and that is I'm going to say small a. Save the file and refresh the page once. You can see small b is being added or added as number. So you can have capital A as well. Save the file, head back to the browser. You can see capital A, capital B, capital C. So this is how you are able to change the type, or we can say the numbering of your ordered list, and you can add few content as well. So you can reverse the list as well. So I'm going to say reversed attribute, and I'm going to remove this. Save the file, head back to the browser and refresh the page. You can see CBA is being displayed. So this is how you can display your reversed ordered list, your ordered list, and you can change the type of your list also. In the UL list, you can use style attribute to change your list styling, and in the ordered list you have to simply use this type. So I'm going to use this Roman numbering. So save the file and refresh the page. You can see 3 2 1 is being displayed. Now let me show you the third type of list, that is nothing but your description list, and here I go. Description list we do have got some tags. These are nothing but your description list tag, description title tag, and description detail tag. Let me show you the code for the same. How does it differs from other list types? Let me go back into my code and start working on the same. So I'll just go over here. Let me include the description list. I'm going to include this DL tag over here. Let me close this DL as well. Now let me add the DT. So description title. I'm going to add this DT and I'm going to say Angular. So for Angular, I'm going to add some description DD, and I'm going to say Angular is a framework to build your SPA, single page application. Now let's save the file and head back to the browser and refresh the page. You can see we are now able to get the title, that is nothing but Angular, and some description is displayed. So in the next line, that is nothing but DD tag, and description details, that is nothing but Angular is a framework to build SPA. Now you can add one more content over here. Let me go back to the browser and let me go back into the code, and I'm going to add again one more description title, and that is nothing but, let's take, I'm going to talk about say React. So I want to talk about React. So React is not a framework. React itself is a library, JavaScript library. So I'm going to say React is a JS library. Let's save the file and head back to the browser, refresh the page once again, and you can see you are getting some title and some description details as well, right? I hope you all guys are clear with the syntaxes, and hope you all are clear with the concept as well. Now let's have a look on the next thing, that is nothing but tables. So let me show you the websites, or let me have a table concept first. So sometimes in the browser or web pages you can see tables being added into your web pages, right? So we have to add the tables into your web pages, so to display some tabular data. So whenever you want to display your content in some systematic format or in some tabular format, you can go with the table tag in the HTML. So what I'm going to do is, let me show you what are the tags that table while designing the table we will be needing. So very first, to design a table we will be needing this table tag, this tr tag is to define a new row, th tag to define a table heading, and td tag to define a table data. So basically, let's start for building this table in the web page. Let me go back into the code and create new file. Let me save the file first. I'm going to say table demo.html. Save the file. Let me create this html first. So let me create the boilerplate code and hit enter. Let me add this table over here, table tag. So table, I'm going to close this table as well. Now let me define the structure first for this table. Let me show you this. I'm going to open the paint. I'm going to add this table over here. So this table structure, and let me add this lines to just to have table rows and columns. So I'm going to have this table columns and table rows. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to have this table structure. I'm going to have this id on this id is nothing but one, and let me add one more line over here, and this id, let me add the id as well. I'm going to id as 2, and I'm going to specify the subject over here. Let me show you the subject column over here, and for the subject the respective marks, so I'm going to write only. So over here I'm going to have this math subject. For math subject let me have 80 marks, and for the science I'm going to say science, and let me have this to be 100 marks. And the last row, that is nothing but my total, has to be displayed of my marks. So I'm going to have over here a total, and that total is nothing but, let's take 180 marks. Let me define the same structure into my web page.